At this time, Yi Futian was staring at Zhan Yuan, the supreme form of the Great Path, but in fact he could only be called the supreme form of the Great Thunder Path because he only perfectly fit the great law of thunder. At this time, Yi Futian was staring at Zhan Yuan, the supreme form of the Great Path, but in fact he could only be called the supreme form of the Great Thunder Path because he only perfectly fit the great law of thunder. At this moment, the divine thunder between the sky and earth was all under his control. The wind and clouds roared above the sky, and the will of endless thunder fell from the 9 skies, all of which turned into his power, and the infinite space became the world of thunder. Some Renhuang warriors of the Violet Heavenly Palace created defense barriers so that the destructive power would not spread to them. Yi Futian, at the center of the thunder world at this moment, was almost engulfed by the endless divine thunder. What was even more frightening was that countless thunder swords were pointing at him. Once they fell, the world would be turned into ruins. Zhan Yuan seemed to know that Yi Futian's defense was strong, so he didn't rush to take action but let the thunder sword gather more and more laws of thunder. The catastrophe thunder of doomsday raged wildly over Yi Futian's body, but his whole body was protected by the divine elephant and was not affected at all. At this time, in Yi Futian's life palace, the ancient world tree swayed like a towering sacred tree. Now, his life palace had been transformed into a world, and each wisp of life spirit was integrated with infinite wills. When the ancient world tree life spirit swayed, all the wills flew to the ancient tree. It was as if the ancient tree was the core of the world and could distribute power at its discretion. A terrifying storm emerged, and the ancient tree life spirit merged all the wills into one and then turned into the power of divine elephants. For a moment, the sound of the elephant roaring in Yi Futian's body trembled the sky and collided with the thunderous rumbles from Zhan Yuan's body. The collisions formed a terrifying sonic boom. Although the destructive power of the space they were in was shocking, people could still feel the power of the sound explosion. Many people's hearts trembled. These 2 Saint Plain warriors had sounds of elephants and thunder in their bodies colliding in the air, which was horrifying. It was the first time for many people to see such a wonder. At this time, another amazing scene appeared. The deed of thorough comprehension enveloped Yi Futian's body, turning it into a cauldron of great laws. Over the sky dome, wills of all kinds were condensed and appeared, and then flowed into Yi Futian's body madly, all being refined in the glory of the deed of thorough comprehension. The sound of elephants roaring became more and more terrifying. Giant elephants appeared one after another, and the divine elephant power over Yi Futian's body was still getting stronger. It was as if he could refine the laws of the world. This was including the laws of thunder. I have the supreme form of the Great Path. It is naturally in harmony with the great laws. How can the thunder laws be under your control? Zhan Yuan said. Yi Futian's eyes looked overbearing. He glanced toward the thunder supreme form of Great Path. All laws of the world gathered over his body and helped him forge the enormous divine elephant power. You can only use the thunder laws. How dare you say your body form is supreme? I can cultivate in all kinds of laws, so shouldn't you call me the master of all laws, the divine form of heavenly path? Yi Futian's voice caused the sky and earth to tremble. Countless people's hearts were shaking due to his words. The divine form of heavenly laws? It was almost. Who in the world dared to name their own body the divine form of heavenly path? Heavenly laws? Divine form? Although it was satirical, it sounded too arrogant and overbearing. Those who stood at the top even did not dare to speak about divine form of heavenly laws. He was praising himself far too much. How dare he say his body was a divine one of heavenly laws? Simply shameless. However, although they felt Yi Futian sounded too arrogant, they were still in disbelief at the scene before them. It was too gorgeous. Yi Futian was refining the laws of all kinds. Many people could feel that different kinds of laws were condensed and integrated into his body, refining his cultivation method. In the end, they were all merged into the divine elephant giant power, strengthening the phantoms of the elephants appearing around him. It was as if they were real divine elephants that could crush the great path. Qi Xiangang was also in the vast crowd, but he was not so conspicuous. He looked at Yi Futian. His disciple was about to surpass him. How long had it taken? Although he knew Yi Futian's background was not simple, he still had not expected him to grow so fast. However, his decision at that time had indeed been correct. The deed of thorough comprehension was the most suitable cultivation method for Yi Futian, which could help him refine the laws of all beings. Presumptuous, the heavenly penalty palace master said coldly. The heavenly path had been broken, and he dared to speak the name of the divine form of heavenly law? This was not just being frivolous. His arrogance came out of his ignorance, and he did not understand what respect meant. What was more, just because he was able to cultivate all kinds of laws, could he really call himself the divine form of all kinds of laws? If so, then are all the saint plane cultivators could be called forms of great laws? Zhang Yuan's eyes shot out dazzling light. He ignored Yi Futian's words and stretched out his palms. His wills shrouded the sky and earth. He pointed one finger toward Yi Futian, and suddenly, all the thunder swords pierced through the sky at the same time. Boom! Yi Futian stepped into the air. The technique he used was still the divine elephant sky stomping. Many divine elephants galloped toward the divine swords. At the same time, Yi Futian raised his arm and continuously punched out fist wills. At this moment, the sky and earth seemed to be penetrated, and the space was in chaos. Each of his punches broke one corner of the world. The divine sword exploded and shattered, and no sword could approach Yi Futian's body. But he continued striding. Countless elephants crushed over the sky dome and crumbled. And at the same moment, Zhang Yuan turned into a war deity of thunder, and the thunderous light in his body bloomed and blasted out toward the marching elephants in the void air, making them collapse and shatter. He was also heading forward. Behind him, a large thunder matrix of apocalypse appeared. At this moment, the matrix seemed to be integrated with his body. He was the matrix. Zhang Yuan came before Yi Futian and wanted to have a melee with him. Seeing this scene, many people's hearts trembled. Yi Futian's cultivation method, the divine elephant void-splitting fist, was so powerful. Could Zhang Yuan contend? Zhang Yuan became the incarnation of the thunder deity. He raised one arm and blasted forward. His arm was no longer made of flesh and blood. It became a distorted thunderbolt, wiping away the existence of everything. Yi Futian didn't dodge. He stepped forward and lifted his arm. The divine elephant great strength merged into his arm. He punched out. The divine elephant phantom appeared, crushing the space and colliding with Zhang Yuan's arm. The moment the two men collided, Zhang Yuan felt that his body was about to explode and shatter, while Yi Futian felt that the enormous power of the divine elephant in the arm was guarding his body. Still, the thundering force of destruction was penetrating and destroying everything. Zhang Yuan was testing who would be the first one to attack and destroy the other. The extremely violent collision did not make either of them fall back. They raised their arms and blasted at each other again. Bang bang bang. They collided with each other again, and each collision was earth-shaking. Many people were shaking inside. Could their bodies of flesh and blood be able to withstand such attacks? This was just crazy. When Zhang Yuan attacked, the thunder of all skies fell and spread all over his body as if the battle was going on in the catastrophe. When Yi Futian attacked, the deed of thorough comprehension shone with bright light. His body was surrounded by ancient characters and protected by divine elephants. Both sides launched extremely aggressive strikes. With a loud noise, they were separated and moved back to their original positions. Over Zhang Yuan's body, the divine light of thunder shone, but the might of thunder over that figure of the thunder deity seemed to be a little unstable. Even though he was the supreme form and the law of thunder went all over his body, filling every part of it and was able to destroy the intruding power, such an attack still made his face pale and blocked the flow of the thunder in his body. Yi Futian was also uncomfortable. At this moment, there were endless beams of thundering light raging over his body. However, the power of the ancient world tree could swallow and digest this will, which allowed him to persist and have a stable life force. Supreme form of great path. Yi Futian raised his eyes and glanced at Zhang Yuan. He asked, "Are you okay?" Zhang Yuan's eyes looked cold. After Yi Futian spoke, A thunder sword directly fell from the sky. Futian raised his hand to blow it away with one punch. He walked forward and suppressed the heavens. Virum. Zhang Yuan's body turned into a flash of lightning. It was extremely fast as it flew toward Futian, intent on killing him. Futian stepped across the space and transformed into a bolt of lightning. They continued to collide in midair. The crowd could only see two flashes fighting from the ground to the upper sky. There were no more fancy skills, only forcible collisions. Even so, it was difficult to see their specific shapes. There were only two glares, divine thunder all over the sky, and a bunch of blasting divine elephants. Their bodies were separated again. The thunderous light over Zhang Yuan's body danced wildly. His face was pale, blood oozing from the corner of his mouth. Futian's life force fluctuated. The destructive thunderbolt merged into the aura of the deed of thorough comprehension. Soon, it was swallowed and refined. The momentum from his body was still arrogant. He said, "It seems that your supreme form of great path is inferior to my divine form of heavenly laws. What's wrong with you?" Lightning fell from Zhang Yuan's body, and the sound of thunder was roaring. Until now, everyone had already understood that Zhang Yuan's attack could do nothing to Futian, but his guy's physique also seemed unique. Even the ultimate attack couldn't hurt him. If the battle continued like this, the supreme form of Violet Heavenly Palace might lose. Zhang Yuan, who had released his ultimate power, still couldn't beat Futian. Many people looked at that peerless figure and trembled inside. Another peerless figure showed up. After this battle, perhaps the whole Heavenly Mandate realm would know his name. Boom! The bright light in Zhang Yuan's eyes shone, and he dashed straight forward again. Futian looked indifferent and also headed toward Zhang Yuan. With his arm raised, Zhang Yuan blew out a punch. The light of thunder broke through the void air, rushing at Futian. Futian's body flickered, and his fist also blasted out. This time, instead of banging on Zhang Yuan's fist, he hit Zhang Yuan's body. Zhang Yuan's pupils contracted slightly, and he seemed to be aware of Futian's intention, but at this moment, how could he quiver? The dazzling light of the divine thunder blasted directly over Futian's body. The violent thunder of destruction destroyed everything. It was as if everything in his body would be demolished. But at the same time, his divine elephant void-splitting fist hit Zhang Yuan's body of the thunder deity and directly punched through it. Futian's body was blown back, and the light of his deed of thorough comprehension seemed to be extinguished. The might of thunder destroyed him, and the destructive thunder raged on him. His body trembled, blood oozed out from his mouth, but he remained standing. Zhang Yuan was blown away with a punch, and the condensed body of the thunder deity exploded and shattered. The might of thunder over his body continued to be weakened, and he surrendered, coughing up blood continuously, and his life force was weak. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. In the sky above the Violet Heavenly Palace, there were still wills of thunder dripping down. In the sky above the Violet Heavenly Palace, there were still wills of thunder dripping down. However, at this time, the vast Heavenly Palace was very quiet. Countless people were gazing at the battlefield, watching Futian and Zhang Yuan fight. Futian was struggling to carry on the attack of thunder while launching a punch at Zhang Yuan. It was crazy to withstand the destructive attack of thunder with a body made of flesh. His divine elephant void-splitting fist was absurd, too. Even Nirvana Plane saints might not be able to endure it. This lunatic. But at this time, Futian's status was better than Zhang Yuan's. Everyone could see that Zhang Yuan was more injured. Even more frightening was that at this time, Futian's whole body was dazzling, bathed in a sacred aura. A will of life kept washing over his body, making him look sacred in the void air. Before, he was fighting and recovering at the same time, but now, when he was injured, the injuries inside his body could be healed immediately. Obviously, Zhang Yuan didn't have such an ability, which was why Futian always had the advantage. The advantage was not just in attack powers. Futian was proficient in laws of all kinds. He seemed to have even released the wills of life and death as if he had really cultivated in laws of all ways. Had the bone of divine Elephant Emperor of 10 directions and the Elephant Emperor's 2 ultimate skills created another peerless figure? However, despite this, Yi Futian's inborn talents were also uncommonly outstanding, so he could directly become the most talented warrior in the heavenly mandate realm. Perhaps it was for this reason that the divine Elephant Emperor regarded him as the successor of their ancestor and truly recognized him as such. As for the so-called supreme successor of the Great Path, it was made up by that warrior of the divine Elephant Clan. But his purpose was to emphasize Yi Futian's status in the divine Elephant Clan, which should be equivalent to that of Zhang Yuan in the Violet Heavenly Palace. The Emperor of the Purple Underground and Zhang Chongqing didn't know how they should feel. The sudden appearance of Yi Futian turned out to be more shocking than that of the Crown Prince of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty. After all, the Crown Prince of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty was conferred as the Crown Prince when he was 18 years old. Even though he had not shown up in public, people had assumed he was amazingly talented and had certain expectations of him. However, Yi Futian, a cultivator from the lower realm, had brought shock to the Heavenly Mandate realm. There were not many people in the Heavenly Mandate realm who were able to quell Zhang Yuan, the supreme form of the Great Path of the Violet Heavenly Palace. What was more terrifying was that although his thunder talent was not as outstanding as Zhang Yuan's, who had an inborn body form of thunder that could fit the great law of thunder, Yi Futian was really proficient in various laws. He could integrate various laws into the divine elephant massive power, which was more powerful and imposing, and directly went against Zhang Yuan's supreme will of the Great Path. Seeing this battle, many people understood that it was nothing for him to lead people to overturn the Violet Heavenly Palace. Zhang Chongqing bowed his head in silence and had mixed feelings. Even though the Purple Underground sect was outstanding, it was still not at the same level as Yi Futian. Even though Yi Futian had trapped them, what could they do? He was backed by the Divine Elephant Clan, so the Violet Heavenly Palace couldn't do anything to him. Zhang Yuan slowly raised his head and stared at Yi Futian. His mouth was still stained with blood, and his body seemed to be broke. He looked to be in extreme pain, but he still persisted. The mental suffering was more difficult to bear than any physical pain. As the most outstanding figure of the Violet Heavenly Palace's young generation, he was the future of the Violet Heavenly Palace. He was destined to compete with the strongest figures of the Heavenly Mandate realm. He strived to dominate the future. However, today he had already been defeated. Also, he lost to Yi Futian, a cultivator who didn't have any fame at all. The Violet Heavenly Palace held today's event. His battle would be recorded in the history of the Heavenly Mandate realms and become an anecdote. He, Zhang Yuan, would live in the shadows of Yi Futian, who would soon gain fame. But why was he defeated? He was very clear about his strength, which had been proven many times in the Violet Heavenly Palace, but how could this unknown person be so strong? You have damaged my divine form of the Great Path. Supreme form of the Great Path of Violet Heavenly Palace, it was enough for you to be proud of yourself, Yi Futian said arrogantly, standing in the void sky with his hands behind his back. Zhang Yuan heard his words and spat out a mouthful of blood. He looked extremely cold. He should be proud that he had managed to merely injure Yi Futian? How ironic. Many people looked at Yi Futian, speechless. There was no need for discussion on Yi Futian's strength and talent. His strength was indeed unprecedented. Zhang Yuan should be proud to have hurt his divine form of heavenly laws. Nobody knew what the mood of the people in the Violet Heavenly Palace was like after they heard this. But as the old saying went, losers had no right to justify for themselves. Yi Futian had vanquished Zhang Yuan with absolute power. No matter what Yi Futian said, Zhang Yuan and the Violet Heavenly Palace had to listen. How could they argue? Strength meant everything, and the defeated had no dignity. The divine form of heavenly laws. Many people muttered in their hearts. He had come up with that stupid title, Divine Form of Heavenly Laws, and now he actually used the title for himself, which was shameless. If they had been Zhang Yuan, they would have spat blood too. Marvelous, a powerful figure of the divine elephant said. The Lord of the Heavenly Penal Palace said that today, we would practice combat and discuss laws to prove that cultivators of the heavenly mandate realm are no less than the figure created by Gu Tianxing. I also believe that the Divine Elephant Clan is no worse than anyone else. Zhan Yuan could fight with the supreme successor of our Divine Elephant Clan at such a high level, which already showed his peerless ability, no matter what the battle result was. This battle also let everyone witness the outstanding performance of the young generation of the Heavenly Mandate realm. Everyone looked at the powerful figure of the Divine Elephant Clan. What he said was true, but the one who had been defeated was not Yi Futian, it was Zhan Yuan. When the Violet Heavenly Palace told the top figures of the Heavenly Mandate realm to confront each other, they didn't expect that Zhan Yuan would be defeated. If so, what was the point of hosting this event? Were they being used? If I remember correctly, this person is Gu Tianxing's younger brother's descendant. Initially, he went to the Purple Underground sect to ask me for that person. The relationship between them is not ordinary, the Emperor of the Purple Underground said. The powerful figure of the Divine Elephant Clan glanced at him, with great majesty in his eyes, and said, "What do you want to say?" The Emperor of the Purple Underground frowned slightly. He looked at the powerful figures of the Divine Elephant Clan and saw them also staring at him. The powerful figure continued, "You Purple Underground sect captured the descendant of the Gu clan, and now you are afraid? You have a grudge with the Gu clan. The Divine Elephant Clan does not. I don't think I promised to deal with the celestial gate of vast heaven with you, but now you have started to draw a clear line with me?" The Divine Elephant Clan was a peak clan in the demon realm, and they were at the same level as the Violet Heavenly Palace. The Violet Heavenly Palace held the event to dissuade all clans of the demon realm from getting close to Gu Donglu. The Violet Heavenly Palace, however, did not have the right to decide who the Divine Elephant Clan accepted as a successor and who they should be close to. Not to mention, the Emperor of the Purple Underground. "My apology," the Emperor of the Purple Underground admitted frankly. But he did not say anything wrong. He intentionally spoke to everyone. Yi Futian took advantage of him once today and also demonstrated such peerless talent. Later, perhaps the Violet Heavenly Palace would resent him. In a discussion or combat, victory and defeat are inevitable. I should congratulate the Divine Elephant Clan for receiving such a supreme successor of the Great Path, the Master of the Heavenly Penalty Palace said in an indifferent tone. Their purpose today was to target the celestial gate of vast heaven. However, now the younger brother of the only descendant of the celestial gate of vast heaven's Gu clan showed off his outstanding talent. What would the world think? In the future, if this person climbed to the top of the Heavenly Mandate realm and joined forces with Gu Donglu, wouldn't the Heavenly Mandate realm be turned upside down? Not to mention, Yi Futian was now backed by the Divine Elephant Clan. In this way, it might be more difficult for all forces to deal with the celestial gate of vast heaven with them. After all, as the powerful figure of the Divine Elephant Clan said, they had no grudge with the celestial gate of vast heaven. "Thank you very much," said the powerful figure of the Divine Elephant Clan, smiling. Yi Futian and Zhan Yuan's fight today was also beyond his expectations. It was no wonder that he could quell Xiang Mang in the Divine Elephant Clan. It seemed that what the Divine Elephant Emperor did had a deeper meaning, and this Yi Futian indeed had unlimited potential. First, Gu Tianxing created Gu Donglu, and now there was Yi Futian. What kind of era would the Heavenly Mandate realm face in the future? In the so-called big change of the Heavenly Mandate realm, what kind of role would they play? The Divine Elephant Clan is known for its unparalleled strength. Their Divine Elephant massive power is so powerful that few are able to compete in the land of the demon realm. This young man has the ultimate heritage of the Divine Elephant Clan and possesses the bone of the ancestor of the Elephant Emperor. His future is indeed bright, said a big future of the Divine Dragon Clan. You're welcome. The Divine Dragon power of the Divine Dragon Clan is also peerless in the Heavenly Mandate realm, the powerful figure of the Divine Elephant Clan responded. In the demon realm, the Divine Dragon Clan and Divine Elephant Clan stood at the peak in terms of strength. Warriors of the Divine Dragon Clan and the Divine Elephant Clan all have innate talent. As a human being, he could make this, which should be the limit of human beings. He must have had intense physique cultivation in addition to cultivating in all kinds of laws. His body is saint level, and in terms of strength, I am afraid it is hard for any other human being to reach him, the warrior of the Divine Dragon clan continued. I am flattered by your comments, sir. I inherited this from the Divine Elephant Emperor of 10 Directions and made such achievement all because of the Divine Emperor's teachings. Speaking of physical strength, my brother is stronger than me. Yi Futian behaved rather modestly at this moment. Since the big figure of the Divine Dragon clan praised him, he could not act as he had in front of the Violet Heavenly Palace. He was close to the Divine Elephant clan and had a friendship with Zhu Gan, the Demon Emperor. The Zhu Yan Demon Emperor and the Dragon Divine clan were old friends, and third brother received the heritage of the Origin Mountains. With such a background, he'd better get along well with all the demon clans of the demon realm. The Violet Heavenly Palace was destined to be on his opposite side. The Heavenly Mandate dynasty wanted to kill the third brother, so they were destined to be his opponents. Stronger than you? The warrior of the Divine Dragon clan said and looked surprised. Yi Futian had just shown great power in the battle with Zhang Yuan, and he said his brother was even stronger than him. Did he mean there was another top figure? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Yi Futian nodded and said, he was born to be a warrior. If body form theory really exists, there are some people who have the supreme form of the great path and some people with body form of all laws. His body form should be called the form of battle deity, since he is born to fight, and his physical strength is just invincible. Yi Futian nodded and said, he was born to be a warrior. If body form theory really exists, there are some people who have the supreme form of the great path and some people with body form of all laws. His body form should be called the form of battle deity, since he is born to fight, and his physical strength is just invincible. Many people heard Yi Futian's words and felt stirred. They had seen Yi Futian's performance, and the power he displayed in the battle with Zhang Yuan was just astounding. Even the great demon beasts of the Divine Dragon clan did not dare to say they could beat him with the massive power of the Divine Elephant. However, he said that there was still another person who was stronger than him and had the body form of war deity and was born for war. Who in this world dared to call their physical strength invincible? Even the warriors of the Divine Dragon clan and the Divine Elephant clan didn't dare to say their physical strengths were invincible. However, Yi Futian had proven how powerful he was with a violent victory. Since he claimed another person was strong, he was probably really strong. Otherwise, Yi Futian wouldn't just babble in front of so many top figures of the Heavenly Mandate realm who could use a fist to test if what he said was true or not. Many top figures were a little curious, and all looked at Yi Futian. The powerful figure of the Divine Dragon clan asked, who is this person? Yi Futian glanced at the vast and boundless crowd, seemingly looking for someone, but there were too many people. It was impossible to find someone at a glance, so he shouted, Yu Sheng. Somewhere in the crowd, Yu Sheng was with other companions. He looked up at Yi Futian in the void, quite speechless. You were in the limelight, fine, but what does it have to do with me? He thought. Why are you picking me? Yu Sheng was a little unhappy, but he still walked to the void sky. The moment he showed up, he attracted the attention of countless people. He was tall, a head taller than Yi Futian. He looked quite brawny. His shoulder-length black hair looked casual, but his face was sharp, and he had an indescribable temperament. From just one glance, one could get a sense of his power. Of course, one's temperament did not truly display their real strength. All cultivators who had reached the Saint Plane had cast off their mortal body structure, so nobody's temperament was poor. His real strength was still unknown. Yi Futian said his physical strength was invincible, maybe because of their friendship. It should be an exaggeration. Amid the crowd of the Violet Heavenly Palace, Tanzimo, many people recognized Yu Sheng. So had the genie goddess of Brahma's pure sky and others. Yu Sheng was the person who stood next to Yi Futian and challenged the disciples of Violet Heavenly Palace back then. His physical strength was indeed very overbearing. However, it was difficult to tell how strong he really was. Genie goddess murmured something to the people of the Brahma's pure sky around her. Many people looked at Yu Sheng. Since Yi Futian had such appalling combat power, this person must not be weak either. He must be really strong, but people needed more proof of how strong he really was. Yu Sheng walked quietly to Yi Futian and said nothing, but the top figures in the void sky were all staring at him, fighting will in their eyes. Sir, this is Yu Sheng of the True Self Saint Plane. I was really not raving. If I am qualified for the great law battle of the heavenly mandate realm, he should have a place too, Yi Futian said. The warriors of the Violet Heavenly Palace didn't look happy. Even the Lord of Heavenly Penalty Palace looked sullen. The event today was held by the Violet Heavenly Palace. What did Yi Futian think the place was? Did he think himself as the master here? Whether his physical strength is invincible or not, I will know only after I fight with him, a cold voice came out. The speaker walked out of the crowd of the Violet Heavenly Palace. The person was also of the True Self Saint Plane and was the strongest warrior of this plane in the Violet Heavenly Palace. His name was Su Yin. Tan Zimo and others were about to say something, but Su Yin had already stepped out, so they could do nothing but watch. Now, they could only hope that Su Yin could win. If they failed the battle again, the Violet Heavenly Palace was quite embarrassed by Zhang Yuan's defeat. Seeing Yi Futian introducing other people, how could they submit to them? Su Yin's life spirit shone behind him. It was a violent giant monster of thunder. Suddenly, the thunder light illuminated the sky. His eyes swept toward Yu Sheng and he said, "Please feel free to give me instruction." Yu Sheng took a peep at Yi Futian. During the great law competition today, we should show enough respect to our opponents, so please make sure you put in your full effort, Yi Futian said. Okay, Yu Sheng nodded and walked forward. The light of Buddha and demon shone around him. When he stepped, the void sky made a dull sound. The Buddha and demon gathered in the same body, which made the law of demon even more vigorous, other warriors commented. Yu Sheng stepped into the void sky, and the space was shaking. A demon shadow appeared around his body, and behind him, a demon statue showed up. It was as if he was the devil himself. After entering the saint plane of true self, Yu Sheng's cultivation had a stunning transformation, and his divine skills became stronger. The supreme divine might came, and Su Yin of the Violet Heavenly Palace frowned. He felt a thrilling pressure from the demonic laws. When he looked at Yu Sheng, he felt as if he was looking at a demon. Su Yin's eyes shone with thunder. He took a forceful step, and the thunderous, giant beast burst into a roar. Tens of thousands of rays of thunder light annihilated the void sky. He seemed to merge into the thunder beast and moved forward to destroy the demon deity. The demonic melody lingered and rang through the world. In addition to the demon statue behind Yu Sheng, there also seemed to be thousands of demon phantoms. He was the peerless demonic deity of the world. He thrust his demonic palm down and destroyed all beings. The might of the violent beast seemed to be completely suppressed. Su Yin and Yu Sheng's attacks collided. The demonic might suppressed might of thunder law. Boom! There was a loud noise. Under the suppression of the demon palm print, the light of thunder dimmed, and the violent thunder monster was penetrated. The palm prints directly blasted over Su Yin's body. For a moment, Su Yin was blown away and thrown back to the crowd of Violet Heavenly Palace. He should go back to where he came from. Even though Su Yin was a talented warrior in Violet Heavenly Palace, he was not even at the same level as Zhang Yuan. If Zhang Yuan and Yu Sheng were on the same plane, they might be able to fight. As for Su Yin, he was obviously not qualified enough, so he could only be suppressed. In regards to Yu Sheng's demonic method, the more he cultivated, the more powerful the method became. Even after the Saint Plane, his demonic power would only become more and more terrifying as he practiced. Therefore, since Yu Sheng listened to Yi Futian's words and didn't show mercy, Su Yin naturally couldn't bear it. Many people saw this scene and felt speechless. One could say the previous battle between Yi Futian and Zhang Yuan was like a showdown, a strong duel, a battle between two top figures. Yi Futian had a hard time even though he defeated the supreme form of the Great Path. Then the battle was a slaughter. They were obviously not at the same level. Su Yin didn't deserve being to be an opponent for Yu Sheng. The Violet Heavenly Palace was miserable. Many people were thinking, This was a big event held by the Violet Heavenly Palace, but what's happening now? The warriors of the Violet Heavenly Palace were beaten one after another, and even Zhan Yuan, their supreme form of the Great Path, was defeated. Virum. At this moment, a gust of fierce wind passed by, and suddenly, the violent demonic flows engulfed the world. A demon shadow appeared. His whole body was sharp. Behind him was a huge phantom of a Kunping. The warrior was a Kunping beast from the Sky Demon Court. He was a top character from the Sky Demon Court. He straddled the void sky in an instant and landed in front of Yu Sheng. His giant Kunping wings behind him swept down and almost opened a crevice into the void sky. They swept toward Yu Sheng. He is Kun, the descendant of the contemporary Kunping demonic great elder, many people murmured. The current Kunping demonic giant elder was appallingly powerful and was a giant figure in the Sky Demon Court. He even disdained the Golden Raven demonic great elder and was seeking autonomy. The descendant of Kunping demonic great elder didn't have very much fame in the world of human cultivators of the heavenly mandate realm, but in the demon world, he had a great reputation and was considered to be the future master of Kun clan. It seemed that he couldn't help but have a try. Yu Sheng looked up and swept toward the void. He saw the wings coming toward him, and he threw his first out, banging the approaching wings and breaking them. Virum. Kun stirred a storm, and a huge vortex rose between the sky and earth, devouring and tearing everything apart. It headed toward Yu Sheng. The storm drowned Yu Sheng, and the horrifying storm tore his body apart. The demon shrouded Yu Sheng. When the horrifying storm raged over his body, he suddenly turned into a terrifying dark whirlwind, devouring this storm frantically, rushing straight toward Kun. Yu Sheng forwarded in the storm, and his fist of devil penetrated everything and rushed straight toward Kun. With wings spread behind his back, Kun flashed toward Yu Sheng. Since Yi Futian had said that Yu Sheng's physical strength was unparalleled, he wanted to see how strong Yu Sheng's offensive power was. The crowd saw them colliding together and fighting at a very close distance. The art of Kunping and the overbearing demonic powers clashed with each other, and the battlefield seemed to be trembling. Countless warriors were staring at them, and every collision made their hearts tremble. The Sky Demon Court was a power of the Demon Realm Alliance, of which many great powers were also present. They looked at the battlefield and were quite stirred. They knew Kun's power the best. The art of Kunping and his attacking power were also extremely strong, but at this time, when he collided with Yu Sheng, the demon cultivator was getting stronger and stronger in the fight. Demon statues of all skies appeared over the sky dome, with appalling demonic might quelling everything. Kun had turned into his original body form, and Yu Sheng transformed into a huge figure of demon deity. They made the void sky tremble continuously. Finally, they were separated, and the overbearing demonic shadow was still standing there. Kun was the one who fell back. His wings trembled slightly, and he stared at the other side. Your strength is not bad. You are the strongest enemy I have ever met. Yu Sheng looked at Kun and said. Among all the opponents he had ever met, no one else was stronger than Kun. Many powerful figures slightly trembled. His strength was not bad. He was the descendant of Kunping demonic great elder, with great fame among young generations. And he just said his strength was not bad? This guy, as Yi Futian said, was truly overwhelming in physical strength and was peerless in his generation. In today's battle, two top-level figures showed up, and both of them were able to stand on top of the heavenly mandate realm. Where did these two guys come from? Not to mention them, even the warriors of the Divine Elephant clan had no idea that Yu Sheng, who often stood beside Yi Futian, was so strong. Before, nobody had noticed. From now on, the heavenly mandate realm would be bustling. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Warriors of the Divine Dragon clan all looked at Yu Sheng. The Kunping demonic great elder was a top power in the demon realm. Warriors of the Divine Dragon clan all looked at Yu Sheng. The Kunping demonic great elder was a top power in the demon realm. The Sky Demon Court once created an air alliance to gather all the strongest bird demon beasts, so nowadays, there were many top demon clans in the Sky Demon Court. There was no need to say much about the strength of the Golden Raven Demon Master, but the Kunpeng Demonic Great Elder was also a great power. His strength was no less than that of the Golden Raven Demon Master. Kun was the Kunpeng Demonic Great Elder's offspring. Although he was not best at physical strength, the physical power of the art of Kunpeng was also extremely overbearing. However, it didn't affect Yu Xing at all. It could be seen that Yi Futian's words were not exaggerated and that Yu Sheng's power was indeed terrifying. He is really strong and his demonic skills are impressive too. Your master must not be a usual person, said a warrior of the Dragon God clan. Yu Sheng's demonic method was taught by a mysterious old guy who said he had unparalleled heavenly strength and was suitable for demonic cultivation. After that, the old guy disappeared and no one else has taught him. As for me, I have many teachers, and now one of my teachers is present. My cultivation method comes from him. Now, by chance, I inherited from Divine Elephant Emperor of 10 Directions and learned the Divine Elephant Emperor's teachings. I have been extremely lucky on my path to cultivation and have met many good teachers. Otherwise, I would not have made accomplishments like today, Yi Futian said, smartly explaining why their talents were so outstanding. Everyone could see that Yu Sheng's demonic method was extraordinary at first glance. He could only say it was the teaching of a mysterious man. There was no way he could say it was Yu Sheng's father. Otherwise, they were going to wonder what Yu Sheng's origin was. As for himself, he would just attribute his diverse knowledge and skills to the good teachers he had met and good luck. He was not wrong in what he said. First of all, you must have talent and ability, only then can fortune become a factor. You have the opportunity to meet famous teachers and have extraordinary luck, which also proves you are an unusual person, the powerful figure of the Divine Dragon Clan said slowly. As for Yu Sheng, the demonic method he cultivated is very rare. There are very few people who can teach him in the Heavenly Mandate realm. How about you find a famous teacher for him? It will be his great fortune, Yi Futian said. He is too shameless, people thought, staring at Yi Futian. This B** starred. Even though he had shown his talents, he was still too shameless. He had the Divine Elephant Clan as his background and was praised as the supreme form of the Great Path by the powerful figure of the Divine Elephant Clan. Now, he was not satisfied with only having the Divine Elephant Clan as his background but wanted to seek connections with other powers. He was very brazen. The Divine Elephant Clan and the Divine Dragon Clan were both top demon clans in the demon realm. If they were both approached by him, there were really few forces in the Heavenly Mandate realm that dared to touch them. Even the Violet Heavenly Palace and the Heavenly Mandate dynasty had to think twice. In our Divine Dragon Clan, there is indeed a powerful figure that could give Yu Sheng some guidance. However, he has a weird temperament and has not received any disciples yet. If Yi Sheng is willing, he can come to my Divine Dragon Clan and meet him. I will recommend him, the powerful figure of the Divine Dragon Clan said. Many top figures of the Heavenly Mandate realm flashed their eyes. Many of them faintly knew who he was referring to. Not only them, but many warriors who knew something about the demon realm had also guessed who he was. The demon dragon of the Divine Dragon Clan was a superpower, a monster that even the head of the Divine Dragon Clan could not command. The Divine Dragon Clan wanted to introduce Yu Sheng to that figure. He won't have any opinion. Are you leaving now, sir? Just take him with you. Yu Sheng will belong to Divine Dragon Clan from now on, Yi Futian said. All warriors stared at Yi Futian with a stunned look. How could he be so shameless? Belonged to the Divine Dragon Clan? Was he still the peerless gallant figure who had just defeated Zhang Yuan? Why did he suddenly become so toady? Yu Sheng looked at Yi Futian, bewildered. He was speechless. Had he even asked for his opinion? Amid the crowd, Qi Xiangang smiled and shook his head. Little Condor muttered, "Master is too shameless." He made Yu Sheng master lose his dignity. In this Heavenly Mandate realm, dignity is of no use. In the Origin Mountains, Futian turned the Violet Heavenly Palace upside down and unlocked the secrets of the Imperial Bone. He survived the Tree of Death and seized the ancient Emperor's corpse. Still, he was hunted all the way, and Zhang Yuan, the supreme form of the Great Path of the Violet Heavenly Palace, was still so overbearing. Qi Xingang spoke slowly. Were Yi Futian and Yu Xing inferior to Zhang Yuan? The battle today had proved many things. What they lacked was just a powerful backing. As the saying went, a tree that outgrew other trees in a forest would be broken by the wind. Yi Futian certainly understood it. He stood out today and embarrassed the Violet Heavenly Palace. Besides, he was Gu Dongliu's younger brother. He showed such peerless talent, but if he had no background, the outcome would not be good. Yi Futian knew this very well, which was why he asked Yu Sheng to come into the limelight and find someone to back him. With the Divine Elephant Clan and the Divine Dragon Clan as their backing, whoever wanted to harm them needed to think twice. Besides, he did so perhaps for his third elder brother as well. After all, Gu Donglu had inherited the laws of origin. Gu Tianxing wanted to make him the new king of the demon realm, but in fact, he was taking big risks, and the probability of success was extremely low. If he lost, he would be eternally doomed. But if Yi Futian could make good friends with the two top demon clans in the demon realm, there would be less pressure in the future. The powerful figure of the Divine Dragon Clan also looked at Yi Futian and felt speechless. This guy didn't care about his own image at all. Where was the proud person who had just defeated Zhang Yuan? However, Zhang Yuan and the Crown Prince of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty were the same kinds of people. They were born to be extraordinary and had always been at the top of the power. They were born to be supreme. At any time, they had a noble temperament, but Yi Futian was different. He came here all through his own effort and knew better how to survive, even though he could show off his peerless talent and pride when facing Zhang Yuan. He knew people like Yi Futian would have a more ambitious life. The future of the Heavenly Mandate realm would change, and it was likely to happen in this generation. After all, it was caused by Gu Tianxing. Then, these top talented people would be extremely important to the future. The Divine Dragon Clan, of course, wouldn't mind establishing relationships with young figures like them. But if so, we Dragon God Clan will take care of Yu Sheng from now on. If that guy refuses to teach him, the Dragon God Clan will teach Yu Sheng to use the power of Dragon Deity, but it may not fit his own cultivation method, the powerful figure of Divine Dragon Clan said. Thank you, sir. Yi Futian bowed and said, Yu Sheng, come and say thank you. Yu Sheng looked at Yi Futian, speechless. But when he turned to the warrior of the Divine Dragon Clan, he became serious. He bowed slightly and said, Thank you very much, sir. Shameless, other warriors murmured, seeing Yu Sheng joining the Dragon God Clan, full of jealousy, envy, and resentment. With the protection of the Divine Elephant Clan and Dragon God Clan, these two guys could act tough in the future. Congratulations. At this moment, a cold voice came from the Heavenly Penalty Palace Lord of the Violet Heavenly Palace. He looked emotionless. Had this grand event of Violet Heavenly Palace become the place to fulfill all Yi Futian's wishes? It could be said that Yi Futian had taken advantage of this grand event not only to embarrass them but also to reap benefits for himself. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Yi Futian looked at the Heavenly Penalty Palace Lord. Congratulations? Yi Futian looked at the Heavenly Penalty Palace Lord. Congratulations? Who knew what the mood of the Heavenly Penalty Palace Lord was like now? But this time, Yi Futian's purpose was just to destroy the event, and now he had made an extra achievement by establishing a connection with the Dragon Deity Clan. I should thank the Violet Heavenly Palace for the opportunity you provided. Yi Futian saluted and said. He looked very polite. The Heavenly Penalty Lord looked at him. Nobody knew what he was really feeling but himself. This time, the Violet Heavenly Palace became Yi Futian's tool and embarrassed themselves. It's all right. I am also glad to have been able to see so many gallant figures in the Heavenly Mandate realm. Besides, I know you're the Gu clan descendant's brother, but you probably don't know what Gu Tianxing did in the past. Now, since you have the opportunity to cultivate in the Divine Elephant Clan and the Dragon Deity Clan, you should be hardworking and improve yourself. The Lord of the Heavenly Penalty Palace reminded him to keep him away from Gu Donglu. I will try my best to cultivate and live up to your graciousness, sir, Yi Futian responded. The heavenly penalty palace lord did not look at him but looked around at the crowd, saying, "The celestial gate of vast heaven claimed to have drawn a line with the Gu clan in the past, but now it seems that they didn't break off relations. Therefore, the violet heavenly palace is preparing to visit the celestial gate of vast heaven after this to question their intentions. I wonder if you would be interested in going together?" He didn't mention the great law battle of heavenly mandate realm again. Since the violet heavenly palace had such a disastrous defeat, how could they mention it again? So, just put an end to it. If the competition continued, it would not be the business of violet heavenly palace, which would only make people laugh. Many warriors were a little surprised when they heard this. Were the violet heavenly palace and the heavenly mandate dynasty going to the celestial gate of vast heaven? Were they planning to force celestial gate of vast heaven to hand over the last descendant of the Gu clan? However, since the lord of the Jiang family went to the place of origin in person to take Gu Donglu away, this time, he probably was serious and would not allow the scene from the past to happen again. Moreover, at that time, the violet heavenly palace and the heavenly gods occupied all advantages during the battle, but now things were different. They only had two forces, and other forces might not really intervene. What was more, Gu Donglu had a relationship with the demon realm, and Yi Futian was also here. However, although there was little hope, they couldn't just sit and watch all this happen. At the very least, they had to go to Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven and see if the descendant of Gu family was cultivating in the Celestial Gate and how much power they had. After Gu Donglu inherited the law of origin and Gu Tianxing's celestial method, Gu Donglu had been sleeping. During these days, perhaps he had already acquired a lot of power. Yi Futian stared at the heavenly penalty palace lord. Were the two peak forces of the heavenly mandate realm planning to go to the celestial gate of vast heaven together? However, he also understood that a war was not likely to break out, and there were, at most, small-scale conflicts. If a war happened, too many issues would get involved, so they would not dare to gamble. If the situation went the same way as it had between the Gu family and the heavenly mandate dynasty at that time, both sides would lose. But since these two top forces wanted to go now, it was tremendous pressure for Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven themselves. What they wanted was to exert the pressure. As for any other possible purposes, he didn't know. The grievances of Violet Heavenly Palace, Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, and Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven have been around for a long time, but since Gu Tianxing said that he wrote off the matter with us, we Brahma's Pure Sky don't want to stir things up. We can go and take a look, but Brahma's Pure Sky will not get involved. A goddess of 9 skies said this bluntly, indicating Brahma's Pure Sky's attitude. They didn't want to be involved in this storm. At least, they wouldn't get involved until the situation became more clear. They had learned their lesson from the past. At that time, the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Heavenly Gate of Vast Heaven were the two forces standing on the top of the Heavenly Mandate realm. However, after the battle, they were knocked off from their pedestal, and now they and other top forces were on the same level and no long prospered like before. Otherwise, if the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven still prospered as in Gu Tianxing's era, and the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty still had the power during the old Imperial Lord's reign, Brahma's Pure Sky would still be suppressed now. We 10,000 Divine Mountain like joining in the fun. We don't mind going with you, the powerful figures of 10,000 Divine Mountain said with a smile. Since Violet Heavenly Palace and Heavenly Mandate Dynasty wanted to go, they would join them. Seeing all these top powers show their attitudes, many warriors were shocked. They did not expect that after they had just experienced the heyday of the Violet Heavenly Palace, would all warriors gather in the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven again? If so, we can go separately, the Heavenly Penalty Palace Lord said calmly. Since they were not an alliance, naturally, they did not need to go together. He got up and looked at the boundless crowd, saying, "Let's call it a day. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the Violet Heavenly Palace and joining us." The end. The Heavenly Penalty Palace Lord obviously wanted to end this unpleasant situation quickly. The warriors of the top forces stood up one after another, and the vast and endless warriors also dispersed, leaving the Violet Heavenly Palace. They were not fully satisfied. Or one should say what happened today was a bit dreamy. Those who fought fiercely to enter the violet heavenly palace before did not leave much of an impression on people. The audience was more concerned about those top characters, especially Yi Futian, who came out of nowhere and stole the limelight, which should have belonged to the violet heavenly palace. In this battle, the ability of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty Crown Prince was proven, and Yi Futian was the biggest winner. It wouldn't take long for his name to spread across the Heavenly Mandate realm. Let's go! Yi Futian and Yu Sheng flickered down. Qi Xiangang and other people also walked out, and soon, the group reunited together and then went in the direction of the Divine Elephant Clan. In this battle, you got all the limelight. Zhu Zhao walked beside Yi Futian and said, "But how did you master the ultimate skill of the Divine Elephant Clan on such a level? This guy was not just good at using sticks, but was the imperial bone of the Divine Elephant Emperor of 10 Directions really that useful? Just cultivate like this." Yi Futian shrugged and said. Soon they came to the crowd of the Divine Elephant Clan. "You were bold," a powerful figure of the Divine Elephant Clan said to Yi Futian. Although this guy ruined the plan of the Violet Heavenly Palace, he had also come out and offended the Violet Heavenly Palace. "Sir, you didn't know what happened in the Origin Mountains," Yi Futian replied. After Zhang Yuan and the Renhuang figures' assault, he had made up his mind to go against them. "I heard them talking and they said, at that time, we Divine Elephant Clan wanted to take you too," the powerful figure continued. Yi Futian didn't mind. He got the bone of the ancestor of the Divine Elephant Clan. It was normal for the Divine Elephant Clan to want it back, but it was rude for other cultivators to do it. Good performance. At this moment, a figure came over, and Yi Futian looked up. He was the Zhu Yen Demon Emperor. "Thank you, sir," Yi Futian smiled and replied, then glanced at Yu Xing next to him. He walked toward Zhu Yen Demon Emperor, who was among the crowd of the Dragon Deity Clan. "Yi Futian and Yu Sheng are here to salute you, sirs." Yi Futian saluted with Yu Sheng. The powerful figure of the Dragon Deity Clan nodded slightly and said, "When do you plan to go to Dragon God Clan with Yu Sheng? I also want to send Yu Sheng to cultivate the power of the Dragon Deity as soon as possible. But for now, I guess we will all be going to the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. After the trip, I will see if Yu Sheng can go to the Demon Realm with you," Yi Futian said. "Okay." The big figure nodded. "Then we will go first." "Take care, sir," Yi Futian said and nodded. Soon the powerful figure and other warriors of the Dragon God Clan left. Many junior warriors were staring at Yi Futian, with their eyes filled with fighting will. "Let's go too," said a warrior of the Divine Elephant Clan, and very soon, they stepped in the void sky and departed from the Violet Heavenly Palace. Above the Violet Heavenly Palace, endless thunderbolts were still dripping down and looked extremely gorgeous. More and more people were leaving the palace, and many people were standing there watching people leave, feeling slightly lost. This time, the Violet Heavenly Palace's performance was terrible. Zhan Huan just stood there and did not leave. This time, he was defeated. "Go back first and recover from your injuries," the Heavenly Penalty Palace Lord said. Only then did Zhan Yuan turn and leave. Outside the Violet Heavenly Palace, countless warriors were flying in the void sky, and Yi Futian was also in the crowd. At this moment, a group of people came up. Yi Futian took a glance and saw the goddess of Brahma's pure sky. However, after receiving the answer from the Brahma's pure sky lord on that day, he had already given up. Now he would still feel the pain whenever he saw people of Brahma's pure sky. At this moment he saw someone gazing at him. That pair of eyes was extremely beautiful, and the face was also perfect. That pair of eyes met his eyes in the void. "After today's fight, perhaps no one will not know of Mr. Yi from now on," a soft voice said. It was very touching. Brahma's pure sky's first maiden Qin He, with perfect looks and talent, was the goddess in countless people's dreams. At this point, she came to Yi Futian's side and took the initiative to speak to him. The scene attracted many pairs of eyes. Many people showed surprise. Qin He spoke to Yi Futian. "I am flattered," Yi Futian smiled and said. "Everyone is familiar with goddess's name in the Heavenly Mandate realm before I came. Although I haven't been in the Heavenly Mandate realm for a long time, I have heard of your name too." Xia Qingyuan looked at Qin He. She frowned slightly. What did the Lady of Brahma's pure sky come to do? Before your life spirit was released, you could defeat the supreme body of violet heavenly palace, which is worthy of any praise. Qinhe smiled. Yi Futian narrowed his eyes slightly and stared at her face, saying, "Did goddess come just to praise it? What do you think?" Qinhe said with a smile that could charm an entire nation. Even Xia Qingyuan was a little enchanted by her beauty. This woman's beauty was bewitching. "I wonder if goddess has any thoughts about me." Yi Futian laughed casually and said, looking at Qinhe, "Did this first maiden of Brahma's pure sky come to chat only because of his outstanding performance? As the first maiden of Brahma's pure sky, she must not be so unrefined." But he didn't know her purpose either. Xia Qingyuan stared at Yi Futian. "This be asterisk starred. Do you have a spiritual partner?" Qinhe asked. Yi Futian did not expect that she would really ask this question in such a way. He froze and then turned his gaze away. His eyes looked slightly dim. "If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible." Xia Qingyuan was aware of Yi Futian's emotional changes. She was very clear that after asking the people of the Brahma's pure sky twice, Yi Futian had been trying to stop thinking about it. Xia Qingyuan was aware of Yi Futian's emotional changes. She was very clear that after asking the people of the Brahma's pure sky twice, Yi Futian had been trying to stop thinking about it. The death of Hua Jiyu was the pain in his heart. He didn't think about it because he wanted to numb himself. He had tried to forget. She was his wife, his spiritual partner. Yi Futian naturally thought of Hua Jiyu first when Qinhe asked the question. "Does it have anything to do with you?" Xia Qingyuan said, glancing at Qinhe coldly. Even though she was first maiden of Brahma's pure sky, Xia Qingyuan was not polite to her. Qinhe couldn't help but take a look at Xia Qingyuan. Seeing Xia Qingyuan's cold gaze, she understood something. "I heard that Mr. Yi had asked people of Brahma's pure sky twice about a person's whereabouts, so I guess the lady named Hua Jiyu was Mr. Ye's spiritual partner." Qinhe looked at Yi Futian and continued. "But what is her relationship with us, Brahma's pure sky, and why did Mr. Yi ask us about her? What is the story? Are you done?" Xia Qingyuan cut in, staring at her coldly. Was this Qinhe intentionally provoking Yi Futian's pain? "Qingyuan, it's okay," Yi Futian said. Hearing him talk to her in this way, Xia Qingyuan paused for a second, took a look at him, and then lowered her head, a mixed feeling in her heart. Goddess is the Brahma's pure sky first maiden, with a transcendent status in Brahma's pure sky. If possible, could you ask Empress of Brahma's pure sky if she still remembers a human cultivator whom she had given a thought to in the lower realms? Yi Futian asked. "Hua Jiyu?" Qinhe asked. "Yes," Yi Futian nodded. "She is my wife. She once received the will of Her Majesty and borrowed the Empress's thought in a desperate situation, but her soul drifted away, so I want to ask if Brahma's pure sky knew the whereabouts of my wife." "I see," Qinhe said and nodded gently. "I am sorry to have asked you about her. After I return to Brahma's pure sky, I will definitely ask for Mr. Yi if I have the chance. But since Mr. Yi had asked twice, I am afraid there isn't too much hope. After all, what Mr. Yi said sounds very vague." "I understand. Thank you very much, goddess." Yi Futian nodded and said, "Is Mr. Yi going to the celestial gate of vast heaven?" Qinhe continued. "Yes," Yi Futian said, nodding. "It will be a very long trip, and it's better to go with companions. It will also be a good chance to chat about cultivation along the way," Qinhe said with a smile. Her smile was extremely gorgeous. It was hard for anyone to refuse her. Xia Qingyuan showed a weird look. What did this Qinhe mean? When they came into contact with Brahma's pure sky previously, these sacred ladies had never taken them seriously, but now, the first maiden Qinhe personally invited Yi Futian to accompany them. Was it because of this battle of the Violet Heavenly Palace? Yi Futian also felt a little bit strange and did not understand what Qinhe's intention was. Qinhe was the first maiden of Brahma's pure sky. She had extraordinary talent. The Heavenly Mandate dynasty wanted to arrange a marriage with their crown prince and her, But Brahma's pure sky had no response, and Qin he never showed an intimate attitude toward anyone. Now, although he showed astounding talent in the battle and had a good relationship with the divine elephant clan, did it mean that his strength and position had surpassed that of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty Crown Prince? Even though he thought so, the people of the Heavenly Mandate realm might not think this way. There was no need for Qin he to approach him deliberately. So what was her purpose? "It's my honor to go with Goddess," Yi Futian said with a smile. He was curious about what Qin he wanted to do. "Shameless," Xia Qingyuan muttered and glanced at Qin he's enchanting face. Had this guy really promised that? However, only a fool would decline the invitation of a stunning woman like her. Well, such a miserable princess," Black-Winged Condor muttered in a low voice when he heard Xia Qingyuan's soft swearing. Xia Qingyuan stared at him with a pair of cold eyes that seemed to be able to kill him. Feeling the killing will in her eyes, Black-Winged Condor shivered and withdrew his head. So fierce. She thought she finally had the chance, but Master was too charming. People of the Violet Heavenly Palace saw Yi Futian and Qin he conversing and even walking together. They looked even more jealous. Did they admire each other? Don't tell us the first maiden of Brahma's pure sky fell in love with Yi Futian, they thought. It shouldn't be possible. She even didn't have any thoughts on the crown prince of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. Even though Yi Futian was outstanding, he was not outstanding enough to make Qin he like him. Many people looked where the warriors of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty were crossing the void sky. The crown prince of the Heavenly dynasty was also in the crowd. He glanced at Qin he, eyes keen. But it was Brahma's pure sky's own business, and he couldn't do anything. He headed forward, leading warriors of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty to leave. The large crowd dispersed. People all returned, and news about what happened in the Violet Heavenly Palace was also spread. As many people had guessed, Yi Futian, as a nobody who defeated the supreme form of the Great Path of the Violet Heavenly Palace in one battle, immediately caused a sensation. His name soon was known in the western part of the Heavenly Mandate realm and spread toward other realms. Especially in the southern region, the news also spread very quickly, because after leaving the Violet Heavenly Palace, many warriors started to head toward the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. The Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was located in the southern part of the Heavenly Mandate realm, so it was also known as the Vast Heaven of South. Under the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was the Futian city. The most powerful families and sects of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven were gathered in this largest main city of the southern part of the Heavenly Mandate realm. Besides, the strongest cultivation methods and classics were also stored here. The Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven had existed for many generations. Not like other forces, they believed that the Celestial Gate should only be ruled by the most talented people. The Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was the Celestial Gate of the whole Futian city. It didn't solely refer to any specific clans. For example, when other family forces reached the peak level, they would have the opportunity to enter the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven and accept the examination of the Celestial Gate. If they passed, they could enter the Celestial Gate and become one of the leaders of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. Similarly, if a clan in Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven became weak and incompetent, it was also not qualified to stay in the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven anymore. Such an environment had made Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven prosper for many years. Futian City also had countless powerful family forces. All clans were continually making improvements and hoping to set foot in the Celestial Gate one day and become one of the leaders of Celestial Gate. Of course, being able to gain a place in Futian City was also an extremely difficult thing. In such an environment, many people claimed that Futian City and the capital of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty were the two strongest main cities in the Heavenly Mandate realm, the Thunder Penalty City of Violet Heavenly Palace, the main cities of Brahma's Pure Sky and 10,000 Divine Mountain were all inferior to them. Yi Futian didn't know much about the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven either until he came to Futian City. He did not expect that this Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven had such a superior system of competition. The Gu clan should have also reached the top at that time through it. If so, at that time, Gu Tianxing and the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven jointly decided to abandon Gu's clan, maybe because Gu Tianxing felt guilty? After all, the Gu's clan was not qualified to fully represent the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, but he almost put the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven in crisis. Now, the Violet Heavenly Palace and Heavenly Mandate Dynasty had released news that they would come to the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. After the news spread, there was also a lot of shock in Futian City. Many people in the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven held different attitudes on Gu Donglio's return. Some people expected that Gu Tianxing would make him a peerless fighting monster, but some people also thought that he would once again put Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven at the center of the storm. At this time, in a palace of Futian City, gentle melodies were coming out with a sweet and clear sound quality. The changing notes fit the immortal aura in the void air, which was just incredible. In the palace, Futian closed his eyes and listened quietly. Not far from him, a peerless lady was playing the ancient zither. Her fingers were slender, and her flawless hands were like a gift from heaven, perfect just like her. Under her slender fingers, the melody weaved by the changing notes had a strong penetrating power, which gave him a very pleasant feeling. The zither music stopped slowly. He took back her slim hands and looked at Futian with a smile. "What do you think, Mr. Yi?" "It sounds perfect," Futian smiled and replied. They had become familiar after the trip. However, so far, he had not figured out what He's purpose was, and she had never revealed anything. This puzzled Futian. Although they were familiar, she was still like a strange person. He was too perfect and impeccable. He couldn't see through her. "Thank you for your comments, Mr. Yi. I'm not very good at playing the zither. For me, playing instruments is only a way to nourish my spiritual world and rest my body. It has some benefits for cultivation, so I have been practicing it for a few years." He smiled and said. "Goddess is humble," Futian said. "Mr. Yi can just call me by my name." "Goddess sounds a little strange," he said, smiling. "Goddess," Futian said with a laugh. He shook her head with a bitter smile. At this time, a cultivator of Brahma's pure sky came and said to He, "The Wang clan of Futian City just sent a request saying that Wang Yanbing will come to visit later." "Wang Yanbing," He murmured. Obviously, she had heard of the name. The Wang clan had a great reputation in Futian City. Many years ago, they lived in the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven and were one of the families in charge of the Celestial Gate. Then they gradually declined and left the Celestial Gate. It was an extremely ancient clan power that had been passed down for many years with a very deep foundation. It was said that, in recent years, the Wang clan had begun to revive. There were many warriors in the clan, and they seemed to have a tendency to re-enter the Celestial Gate. Besides, now the number one figure below the Renhuang of Futian City was Wang Yanbing, a descendant of the Wang family. It was rumored that he was extremely talented, and even the big figures of Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven couldn't beat him. Soon, he would become another figure that brought the Wang clan to the apex. It was no secret that they had arrived at Futian City, so he requested to visit. "If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible." In Futian City, Wang Yanbing's visit to Brahma's pure skies first maiden he caused a great sensation. In Futian City, Wang Yanbing's visit to Brahma's pure skies first maiden he caused a great sensation. Now, all the powerful people had gathered in this city. The Brahma's pure sky goddesses had arrived, and Wang Yanbing was now the most popular person in Futian City. His every move attracted everyone's attention, not to mention his visit to He. Above the Celestial Gate, there were Jiang Taichu and Hua Qingyun, and below the Celestial Gate, there was Wang Yanbing. These three people were the three most famous geniuses in the South Vast Heaven. Wang Yanbing was competing with the other two peerless figures from two clans above the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. He had not entered the Celestial Gate to cultivate, but many people said that Wang Yanbing was waiting for the day when the Wang clan re-entered the Celestial Gate so he could set foot on the Celestial Gate with his clan. After the Gu clan fell, there were only two clans. Jiang clan and Hua clan were in charge of the celestial gate of vast heaven, and the Wang family had been preparing to set foot on the celestial gate to replace the Gu clan. For people of Futian city, Jiang Taichu and Hua Qingyun were above the celestial gate, who they had no chance to approach. However, Wang Yanbing was more real for them, and they could truly feel how horrifying Wang Yanbing's strength was. Hearing what happened at the Violet Heavenly Palace event, people of Futian city all felt pity. It was a pity that the celestial gate of vast heaven did not participate this time. Otherwise, the three giants of the celestial gate of vast heaven, Jiang Taichu, Hua Qingyun, and Wang Yanbing, could show up with Gu Donglu, the talent created by Gu Tianxing. What a strong team! They all believed that the current generation of South Vast Heaven was the strongest in the heavenly mandate realm. On this day, in Futian city, a group of armed soldiers of the Wang family was trekking. Above the sky, there was a brilliant radiance of divine weapons shining. It was extremely sharp and illuminated the void sky in an instant. Time to go! Many people looked up at the sky and saw the armed warriors of the Wang clan roaring above them, all of them flickering toward the same direction. At this time, within a district of Futian city, in the inns, on the streets, there were a lot of people looking somewhere high in the distance. There were many stairs below the palace. Standing on the ground, one needed to raise their head to see it. Cultivators of Brahma's pure sky were living there. At this time, many people were drinking and chatting in the inns below the palace. I heard that Yi Futian is also living in that palace. After the battle of Violet Heavenly Palace, he came here with the goddess Qin He and has been accompanying her. Yi Futian was able to defeat the supreme form of Violet Heavenly Palace. He is indeed an unusual person. No wonder he is favored by Qin He. Who told you Qin He goddess favors him? Maybe she approached him for other reasons. He defeated the supreme form of the great path of Violet Heavenly Palace, but I think Yi Futian's reputation is undeserved. He is definitely not comparable with Wang Yanbing of our celestial gate of vast heaven Wang clan. Wang Yanbing's strength is indeed horrifying, and he is a nirvana saint. If Zhan Yuan meets him, Zhan Yuan will definitely lose, but if cultivators of his plane meet him, he may not win so easily, some reasonable people said. As the saying goes, every famous person has an advantage over others. The Violet Heavenly Palace was also a top force of the heavenly mandate realm. How could the people they chose be incompetent? Prior to this defeat, Zhan Yuan was also in his prime, but after the defeat, in addition to bringing fame to Yi Futian, Zhan Yuan was also questioned by many people. Many people thought that perhaps the praises the supreme form of the Great Path had received in the heavenly mandate realm were too high and that he was not worthy of his previous reputation. Yes, it is said that Yi Futian is Gu Donglio's younger brother, so he also has a close relationship with Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. I hoped the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven could make friends with him, and one day, these two brothers, Jiang Taichu, Hua Qingyun and Wang Yanbing, these gallant figures of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, could all stand on the top of the heavenly mandate realm, a senior remarked. However, this idea was difficult to achieve, since many different voices had appeared in Futian city. People had distinct opinions. Because it was Futian city, more people admired Wang Yanbing, but Yi Futian, on the other hand, did not have much favor. Nowadays, the majority of people in Futian city were young. They didn't know what happened in the past and did not have strong feelings on the Goose clan. However, elders who had experienced when the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was flourishing and witnessed Gu Tianxing and Gu Jiangnan's glory were fonder of Gu Donglu and Yi Futian. In Gu Tianxing and Gu Jiangnan's era, the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was very prosperous, and today's Wang Yanbing was not comparable to them at that time. At this moment, there seemed to be an invisible air flow coming from above the sky. Suddenly, many people stood up and looked up toward the void sky. In the distance, gorgeous light beams entered their eyes. Divine weapons whistled in the wind, and a bunch of armed warriors came and landed in an instant. These divine weapons came down and stopped beneath the staircase of the palace. One by one, warriors got off their weapons and lined up. The leader of the group was wearing a silver robe. He had an unusual temperament. His face was very handsome and smooth, like marble, and his whole person was shining. Many ladies showed their admiration. He was Wang Yanbing, now the top one person below the Renhuang figure of Haotian City. Wang Yanbing of the Haotian City Wang clan came here to visit goddesses of Brahman's pure sky, Wang Yanbing said, and his voice entered the palace. On the stairs of the palace, a goddess appeared and said, "Mr. Wang, please wait a moment. Qin He goddess will meet you outside the palace." "Thank you, goddess," Wang Yanbing said and saluted, waiting patiently. Seeing the scene, people of the Wang family were quite proud, and everyone around them was also impressed. It seemed that the goddess of Brahma's pure sky had also heard the name of Wang Yanbing, and goddess Qin He even greeted him in person. However, at this moment, a few people came out from the palace, and the crowd from a distance saw quite a few ladies come out and arrange seats in the area outside the palace above the stairs. Obviously, they were preparing to receive Wang Yanbing outside the palace. Some people who just felt proud of Wang Yanbing showed strange looks. They had thought that Qin He was really ready to meet him in person, but it turned out that they just intended to receive him outside. However, Wang Yanbing looked calm and did not feel anything. Brahma's pure sky was the peak power of the heavenly mandate realm, but the Wang family was nothing but a dismal family and had not returned to the celestial gate of vast heaven. The statuses of both sides were not equal. Before he entered the celestial gate of vast heaven, he was not qualified to ask the Brahma's pure sky to treat them equally. However, many people of Haotian City were dissatisfied and made complaints. Futian is said to be in the palace, but now, they are greeting Wang Yanbing outside the palace. What do they mean? Someone said unpleasantly. After all, Wang Yanbing had a high reputation in Haotian City, but now he came to visit and was stopped outside the door. They didn't let him enter the palace. If Futian had not been inside, maybe they would not have felt anything, but Futian was just a person with a brilliant record in one battle. Now he was in the same palace as Brahma's pure skies people. Was Yanbing of Haotian City inferior to Futian? In the midst of people's conversations, the place over the top of the palace stairs was simply arranged, and many stunning female figures appeared. When people saw the leading woman, they all shut up and were slightly distracted. The lady under the sun looked peerless, and her body of golden proportions, perfectly showing her elegant temperament. She was just impeccable. Even though there was some dissatisfaction, the moment people saw her, they just couldn't be angry at such a woman. Brahma's pure sky's first maiden, Qin He. "Please come in," someone said on the stairs. Wang Yanbing and others walked to the top. They came to the front of the palace and greeted, "Wang Yanbing of Wang clan is here to salute goddesses of Brahma's pure sky." Qin He was sitting on the chair. She looked at Wang Yanbing and others and said, "It was hasty, so we just made some simple arrangements. I apologize. Everyone, please sit down." "Thank you for your time and attention, goddess." Wang Yanbing nodded slightly and responded, and then he took a seat and sat down. His eyes were still on Qin He. He said, "I have heard of Brahma's pure sky goddess's name for a long time. Now, since Qin He goddess has come to Haotian City, I, as the master of the city, should try my best to play host to you, but I am afraid it may be too abrupt, so I am here to visit you in person." "You're welcome," Qin He said softly. "Even though I have been in the Brahma's pure sky, I've heard of your name, too. I know Mr. Wang has beaten all Saint Plain warriors in Haotian City and is called the top figure under the throne of Haotian City Renhuang, with the same famed Jiang Taichu and Hua Qingyun of the celestial gate of vast heaven. Jiang Taichu and Hua Qingyun were the top cultivators raised by the celestial gate. Wang Yanbing could be as famous as them, which proved he was extraordinary. Today, Qin He also noticed that his temperament was indeed outstanding. "It's an undeserved reputation," Wang Yanbing said modestly. Futian was also sitting beside Qin He's main seat at this time. He didn't have an interest in coming, but since Qin He had invited him, he had to sit with her. At this moment, he also took a look at Wang Yanbing. He was indeed an unusual person with extraordinary temperament. Moreover, Wang Yanbing's gaze had always been on Qin He, but it did not make anyone feel uncomfortable. He also showed his respect. "What brings you here today, Mr. Wang?" Qin He asked frankly. In fact, it was okay for her to decline the invitation. Although Wang Yanbing was extraordinary, she was not willing to waste too much time on him. In recent days, many important events have occurred in the heavenly mandate realm, like the accident in the Origin Mountains and Gu Tianxing's appearance. In our generation, the heavenly mandate dynasty crown prince has debuted. Gao Huang of the 10,000 Divine Mountain came out of the east of the heavenly mandate realm. Yi Futian defeated the violet heavenly palace Zhan Yuan. Gu Donglu inherited the laws of origin. What is your opinion, goddess? Wang Yanbing asked. The heavenly mandate realm is vast and boundless, with countless talented figures, so there must be many gallant heroes rising up. The prophet has predicted that changes will happen in the heavenly mandate realm. It is normal for top figures of top forces to come out and show their strength. Besides, those who stand out among all these talented figures will show even more amazing talent, Qin He said. So, who do you think will stand out? Who does goddess think will be the strongest among all the forces of the heavenly mandate realm, including the demon realm and the generations below the Renhuang figures? Wang Yanbing asked again. Will the celestial gate of vast heaven be in the forefront? Everyone in the distance heard Wang Yanbing's words. They listened carefully. Was Wang Yanbing talking to the first maiden of Brahma's pure sky about gallant figures in the realm? Qin He looked at Wang Yanbing. From his words, she could feel that he also wanted to compete with those people. I have yet to see everyone's performance. During the battle of Violet Heavenly Palace, the Crown Prince of the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Golden Raven Crown Prince of the Sky Demon Court tied, but many top figures of the Demon Clan didn't take a shot. Gao Huang of 10,000 Divine Mountain didn't. The Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven was not present, so I can't say who was the strongest, Qin He replied. It's okay to guess, Wang Yanbing said. Qin He glanced at him and continued. Gu Donglu of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven obtained the laws of origin and Gu Tianxing's celestial laws with the protection of 9 immortals. There must be a place for him. The Crown Prince of Heavenly Mandate Dynasty and the Golden Raven Crown Prince are also extraordinary. Although Mr. Yi doesn't belong to any top forces, he defeated Zhan Yuan and should have a place too. As for other people, I don't know much about them and can't comment. In addition, if you say which force should be the strongest, since Gu Donglu has entered the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven and Heavenly Mandate Dynasty should be the strongest in this generation. These two forces that once stood at the pinnacle were still at the apex. Wang Yanbing didn't say much after he heard Qin He's words. He turned his eyes and looked at Yi Futian, saying, You must be the supreme form of heavenly laws, Yi Futian. Yi Futian froze there for a moment. Wang Yanbing smiled and nodded, saying, Glad to meet you. Glad to meet you too, Yi Futian replied. Wang Yanbing looked back to Qin He and continued, Goddess seems to be quite optimistic about Gu Donglio's future. Now, Gu Donglu has entered the Celestial Gate, so what do you think about the future of the Violet Heavenly Palace and the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty? This was the internal issue of the Vast Heaven's Celestial Gate, and I have no comment. Qin He did not respond. This matter was sensitive. As the first maiden, she represented Brahma's pure sky when she was outside. Wang Yanbing did not force her to answer. He said, The accident of that time started from the turmoil of Gu Tianxing and the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty, which eventually led to the collapse of Gu Clan and the decline of the Celestial Gate. Many years have passed, and now, the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven has gradually recovered its vitality. Above the Celestial Gate, the Jiang clan and the Hua clan are both extremely prosperous. There are also many top family forces in Haotian City. With the rise of this generation, the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven will be revived one day, and there may be another figure like Gu Tianxing in the future. Even if not, the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven will still be able to stand firmly on top of the Heavenly Mandate realm. Qin He looked at Wang Yanbing. His words seemed to be indicating something. What do you mean? Qin He asked. The Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven does not need to be nostalgic. Since it made the decision in the past, it should completely cut off its relationship with the past instead of letting the past repeat itself. Not to mention, Gu Donglu is not Gu Tianxing. Gu Tianxing used to stand on the top of the Heavenly Mandate realm and was the strongest figure in the Celestial Gate. Even though Gu Donglu has the supreme inheritance, he is still just a Saint Plain figure. How much does it take for a Saint Plain cultivator to become a top figure of the heavenly mandate realm? It is even unknown if he can survive until then. Wang Yanbing continued, therefore, I think what the Celestial Gate did was a bit imprudent. Gu Tianxing seemed to have been arranging this for many years, but in fact he should have not let the Celestial Gate of vast heaven enter the game. If Gu Donglu one day reaches that level, he can enter the Celestial Gate of vast heaven, but that will be a different thing. But now, it seems like he has achieved everything only due to his personal relationship. Many people in the distance heard Wang Yanbing's words and showed surprise. He was aiming at the Celestial Gate of vast heaven. Wang Yanbing came to visit Qin He and took the opportunity to talk about the matters of the Celestial Gate. It seemed that he was deliberately doing so to convey his voice and thoughts to the people of Futian City. Many people also thought Wang Yanbing's statement made sense. It was indeed a bit risky for the Celestial Gate of vast heaven to do so. Yi Futian frowned. Wang Yanbing was questioning what the Celestial Gate of vast heaven was trying to do. This could not happen in any other top forces, but it was possible in the Celestial Gate of vast heaven, since the Celestial Gate of vast heaven was the Celestial Gate of all of Futian City, and anyone could make their own voice here. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Qin He looked to Wang Yanbing. Did he come here just to say this? Qin He looked to Wang Yanbing. Did he come here just to say this? It seemed that, even though he had not yet entered the Celestial Gate of vast heaven, Wang Yanbing was already concerned with many issues, such as who the strongest figure in the heavenly mandate realm was, and whether or not the things the Celestial Gate had done were right or wrong. This should not be something he cared about. But what Wang Yanbing said undoubtedly proved that he had regarded himself as one of the top figures in the heavenly mandate realm. Besides, he had also voiced his opinion about the competition of the heavenly mandate realm because he wanted to participate in it. He thought it would all be related to him. It seemed the Wang clan was ready to enter the Celestial Gate of vast heaven. Wang Yanbing came here today just to set the stage for this. She did not respond. She always watched her mouth. She was the first maiden of Brahma's pure sky, but the matter of Celestial Gate of vast heaven was none of her business, and she would not comment. Is this your idea, or is it the idea of the Celestial Gate of vast heaven Wang clan? A lazy voice said. Wang Yanbing moved his eyes to Yi Futian, who was sipping tea. People in the distance also looked at Yi Futian. Qin He didn't even respond. Was Yi Futian trying to join their conversation? Wang Yanbing's gaze fell on Yi Futian. He still looked calm and peaceful inside. He asked, is there a difference? Of course. Yi Futian put down the teacup and looked at Wang Yanbing, saying, since I came to Futian City, I heard that the Wang clan used to be a Celestial Gate clan and once was one of the leaders. You left the Celestial Gate after the decay. Now that there is a sign of revival, you may return to Celestial Gate. If what you said is the Wang clan's idea, I suggest the Wang clan better not enter the Celestial Gate because you don't deserve it. After Yi Futian spoke, everything fell silent. Numerous eyes were staring at Yi Futian, and solders behind Wang Yanbing all released a sharp and dangerous life force. This statement was utterly presumptuous. People below the stairs and in the distance also looked at Yi Futian. This guy liked talking big. How dare he suddenly rave that the Wang clan didn't deserve to enter the Celestial Gate. There was also a sharp light flashing in Wang Yanbing's eyes, but he seemed to have good self-control. He did not get angry or release cold wills. He just calmly said, please continue. If it's your idea, I can only say I feel pity for you. You asked who was qualified to stand at the top of the heavenly mandate realm. Although I don't know who it will be, I am sure there will be no place for you. Many people in the distance showed anger. Such an arrogant brat, someone in the restaurant slapped the table and said with a cold look. Wang Yanbing was the top one figure under the Renhuang of Futian City. Even though Yi Futian had a brilliant record in the Violet Heavenly Palace, he did not have the right to be so arrogant. First, he insulted the Wang family. Then he explicitly said that Wang Yanbing was not worthy of competing for the top of the heavenly mandate realm. Why? Wang Yanbing was still calm as he asked Yi Futian. You said that Gu Tianxing and the celestial gate of vast heaven did everything for themselves, and you also said that the storm that weakened the celestial gate at that time was caused by the grudge between Gu Tianxing and the heavenly mandate dynasty. Yi Futian stared at Wang Yanbing and said emotionlessly, let me ask you, what was Gu Tianxing's identity at that time? What was Gu Jiangnan's? Wang Yanbing raised his eyebrows slightly. He seemed to know what Yi Futian meant. Yi Futian continued, as far as I know, Gu Tianxing was one of the 3 leaders of the celestial gate of vast heaven, and among them, he was the strongest. He led the celestial gate of vast heaven to reach the top of the heavenly mandate realm. There were 12 immortals in the Gu clan that overtook the heavenly mandate realm, and Gu Jiangnan was also a peerless figure of the celestial gate of vast heaven. But according to you, Gu Jiangnan's death was just Gu Tianxing's problem? Didn't they belong to the celestial gate? As you said, this is a matter of Gu clan. If so, what kind of sect is the celestial gate of vast heaven? Why do all people only enjoy others' contributions? Can I assume that if the Wang clan were useful to the celestial gate of vast heaven, the celestial gate of vast heaven would want you? Otherwise, they could just forget about you. Yi Futian's voice was penetrating. He continued, if so, how is the celestial gate of vast heaven qualified to stand at the top of the heavenly mandate realm? It was all because of Gu Tianxing, who volunteered to sacrifice Gu clan for the celestial gate's future. Now the celestial gate took Gu Donglu back because they owed him. Top figures should have such trust and morality. Who is really selfish? If this is the Wang family's idea, isn't it the failure of the celestial gate to let the Wang family enter the celestial gate? Once a clan is useless, just discard it. According to you, if Gu Donglu stands at the top of the heavenly mandate realm in the future, the purpose of entering the celestial gate for him would not be cultivation but revenge, since the celestial gate abandoned the Gu clan. You want to make progress quietly and grow stronger. You think peerless figures will emerge from the celestial gate? But why would that person come from the celestial gate of vast heaven? What if that person comes from the heavenly mandate dynasty, Violet Heavenly Palace, or is Gu Donglu himself? At that time, how will the celestial gate of vast heaven act? Why can't you fight by yourself? Yi Futian continued, you don't have the courage and responsibility to face your responsibilities. You just want to sit down and enjoy other people's achievements. Even though you have talent, you lack belief in yourself and others, so you will be destined to fail in the competition of the heavenly mandate realm. Yi Futian finished, and the vast and boundless space became even quieter. There was no sound at all. Even in distant inns, people's chatter stopped. They all looked at the white hair figure above the stairs, lost in thought. If one said that Wang Yanbing's words showed his wisdom in making decisions, then Yi Futian's words, at this moment, reflected a kind of spirit. It was hard to say who was right or wrong. Everyone's thoughts were different and how they judged things also differed. What Wang Yanbing said was not wrong, but Yi Futian's words could also refute him. At this time, many people began to compare them. Wang Yanbing, who was born in the Wang family, seemed to be outshone. Qin He had an amazed look on her face. She looked at Yi Futian next to her. She could feel his strong spirit from his words. It was as if there was still a brave young man's soul in his body, even though he had reached the Saint Plane. Wang Yanbing looked at Yi Futian and seemed to be thinking about his words. You have some idealism, but what you think is unrealistic. What you said is just sophistry. You have faith but no strength. If war breaks out, even the figures on top of the heavenly mandate realms can't defend Renhuang warriors' attack. No one can escape death. After a moment of silence, Wang Yanbing said, Gu Tianxing and the old imperial lord were so powerful back then, but now they are buried underground. As for who can stand at the top of the heavenly mandate realms, you can't make that conclusion. Let's see who among the top figures of the heavenly mandate realm will stand at the peak in the future. Wang Yanbing stood up, bowed to Qin He and said, My apology for bothering goddess. I should leave now. Qin He smiled and said, Take care. Farewell. Wang Yanbing cupped his hand and said. He turned around and walked away. Warriors of Wang clan all rose and left. Before leaving, they all glanced at Yi Futian. Then they stepped into the air and vanished. His last sentence didn't sound that ridiculous, Yi Futian whispered, seeing Wang Yanbing leaving. However, it won't come true. Among the top figures of the heavenly mandate realm, who will stand at the peak in the future? Qin, he murmured. Wang Yanbing was indeed very ambitious. However, Yi Futian said his dreams wouldn't come true. It seems that Mr. Yi believes the top figure of heavenly mandate realm will be dominant in the future, Qin, he said with a smile. I'm the divine form of heavenly law, Yi Futian said. He shrugged and smiled. Qin, he looked at his handsome face and no longer felt very disgusted. After knowing him for a while, she felt he was not bad. But she still didn't understand why she was asked to approach Yi Futian. The divine form of heavenly law, Qin, he said and smiled. Her sweet smile was breathtakingly beautiful. Yi Futian looked at her smile and slightly felt it was more natural than before. Let's return. Everyone rose to their feet and returned to the palace. However, people outside the palace had not dispersed. There were a lot of discussions about the argument between Wang Yanbing and Yi Futian today. However, they did not have a real fight today. Wang Yanbing was a nirvana saint, and his plane was higher than Yi Futian's. Their fight was meaningless. Let's just see who will dominate this generation in the future, they thought. Perhaps neither of them would be able to do that. Time passed. More and more people had entered Haotian City. Many powerful people had gathered in this celestial city, just like in the Thunder Punishment City not long ago, but they did not show up. They stayed quiet in the city. After all, this time was not the same as in the Violet Heavenly Palace. This time, the Violet Heavenly Palace and the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty came to challenge the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. To the east of Haotian City, there was a celestial gate land that towered into the clouds. It had an immortal atmosphere. This was the territory of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven. At this time, at the top of the Celestial Gate of Vast Heaven, in a celestial matrix that connected the sky and earth, ancient characters were circling. Beams of the Great Law drooped down from the sky and fell into the celestial matrix. In the center of the celestial matrix, a figure was sitting cross-legged, surrounded by the endless ancient characters. He was Gu Donglu. Outside the celestial matrix, the Lord of Jiang clan stood there quietly with his hands behind his back. He was watching Gu Donglu in the matrix. At this moment, a middle-aged figure in a luxurious robe came down. He stood beside the Lord of the Jiang family and said, "How is it going?" "He still stays in the unblemished plane," the Lord of the Jiang family said. "But his status now, which he cultivated for a day, has taken other people a year to accomplish." "Good." The middle-aged man beside him nodded. Cultivation required one to take one step at a time. Usually, it was impossible to skip planes to cultivate. No one had done it before, and even if someone did it, their status would be unstable. However, Gu Donglu was a special case. He directly inherited the laws of origin and absorbed the fortunes of the entire origin mountain. There were the wills of tens of thousands of demons in his body, and he also had the thought of the demon monarch. In the end, Gu Tianxing sealed his own will and the divine matrix in his body. It protected him with celestial methods. The power was so appalling that it was comparable to the creation power of the sky and earth. That was why big figures of the Violet Heavenly Palace and the Heavenly Mandate Dynasty were scared of this young man. The methods Gu Tianxing had used on him were too strong that they went against heaven's will. Gu Donglu was in the process of refining and cultivating. He was also digesting the wills of countless warriors. His cultivation in one day was better than what others did in a year. However, he was about to reach the limit of cultivation this time. Whether he could break through the nirvana plane or not depended on Gu Donglio's own comprehension in laws. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference. as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.